I am Dr. Said Ammar Nakshawani, and this message is brought to you by the Mohsin and Fawziya Ja'far Foundation.
What does Islam say about charity? Does Islam encourage giving charity? Of course it does. In the same way religions like Judaism speak about sadaqah, you'll find that the religion of Islam discusses charity in many different ways, many different forms. The first main point I always stress on when a person asks me about whether Islam encourages Muslims to be charitable is that giving charity in Islamic thought is actually a form of purifying oneself. Someone may ask, in which way? Purifying ourselves from a disease that, if it affects us, can be destructive to us, and that is stinginess. Nobody likes being around the stingy. How many times have you and your friends made jokes about the stingiest person in your circle? The one who always says, you know what, I've forgotten my wallet at home at virtually every single dinner you've ever been to. Or the one who starts sweating when they pay the bill. You therefore find that stinginess is what's known in Islamic ethics as a spiritual disease. We have physical diseases as human beings that we discuss every single day. There are people talking about COVID-19 left, right, and center. But at the same time, there are spiritual diseases such as anger, such as lust, such as hypocrisy, such as envy, and such as stinginess. Therefore, when you look at one of the terms which defines charity in the religion of Islam, the term is known as zakat. Zakat, tazkiyah, zakah, for example. All of these are terms which allows us to understand the meaning of purity or purifying. When a person pays charity in Islamic thought, there is a sense of purification. The words tahara or the words tazkiyah are always brought together because there is this understanding that sadaqah or zakat, different forms of charity in Islam, some obligatory, some are recommended. Because that's my second point. Islam says that there is some charity which is obligatory upon you. Zakat is seen as being obligatory on every Muslim if they meet, for example, certain criteria and conditions within Islamic law. Likewise, you have sadaqah. Maybe something's not obligatory on me, but if I see someone on the streets and I see that they're hungry, I don't need Islamic law to tell me that you can give. I should be giving from my own self, purifying myself from stinginess, but at the same time helping humanity at large. Why are there poor people in the world? Some might blame God and say, well, if God is the sustainer, why doesn't he give to everybody? The reality is, George Bernard Shaw answered this quite wonderfully when someone said to him that why is it that there are so many poor people in the world today? George Bernard Shaw had a receding hairline. He was quite healthy on the sides, not so healthy on the top. So he said, it's because of my hairline that there are poor people in the world. And when people asked him, what do you mean because of your hairline? He said, good production, bad distribution. I wish I had a lot more on the top and not so much on the sides. The production in this world is so great, but the distribution leaves a lot to be desired. Sometimes us as human beings, if we gave away more in charity, then you'll see that there would be less poor and afflicted in this world. Which brings us to the third point about charity in Islamic thought. And what is that? Islam talks about the intention behind the charity that you give. There are some who give charity, but to show off to everybody, look, I'm the one who gave. There are some who give charity, but they want their name mentioned on every form of charity that they've ever given, which is not too bad. You may encourage some people to then give themselves. But then there are some who give and they don't want no reward in return. They want to give because they want to help other human beings who find difficulties in their lives, who may not be as well off as them. Let's be real here. Where we grew up is arbitrary. I could have grown up in streets in parts of Africa where I would never ever have thought of clean water. I was lucky that I grew up in London. That is a form of sustenance for me. Further than that, to give back from oneself without a doubt is rewarded in this world and in the hereafter. The Islamic conception of the hereafter talks about the fact that charity not only helps you in this world, but when you die and your family members continue to give what's known as sadaqah, then without a doubt that helps you even in the intermediary realm known as barzakh, which we'll discuss on another occasion. Therefore, does Islam give charity? Does Islam talk of charity? Does Islam encourage charity? Do Muslims talk about charity? Do they encourage? Of course they do. In some cases obligatory, in some cases recommended. In many cases, the world needs more charitable people. Thank you for listening to this weekly broadcast. We invite your feedback to continue this dialogue.